Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Sylvester Inspires BeliefCast. As we mentioned a little while ago, we're going to do this amazing thing once a month with the owner and CEO, Mark Richards of Wasatch Recovery. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We call this the Wasatch Way, where we're going to take topics that we see here in recovery and people who are struggling and address those with Mark. And I'm going to give my input as well. And again, we're just grateful to be able to do this. We just posted Mark's story, what was that, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, and it took off. I'm telling you, it's downloading like crazy. I mean, I think we're close to 1,000 comments.
That's awesome.
I mean, think about that. And there are people just saying, hey, we love you, Mark, or hey, we loved what we heard on this podcast. I've got people reaching out to me that want you on their podcast now. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning into that. And again, this is called the Wasatch Way. And we're going to do this once a month. So you're going to hear from Mark quite a bit, which is great. And I'm just excited. It went a lot bigger than we were anticipating, I think.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a great opportunity. I think we could address numerous subjects. People always have questions.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it from our perspective here at Wasatch.
Yeah, and speaking of that, if anyone listening to this, you have a question, you can send an email to info@wasatchrecovery.com and send in any question you want us to address, and we will do that. And if you want to reach out to Mark, he gave his cell number out last time. But yeah, reach out to Mark, reach out to myself. We're here to help. If you have a family member who's struggling, who needs treatment, or whether it's substance abuse or if it's just a mental health issue, because that's a big thing. You know, a lot of times we don't talk just about mental health, by itself, but they kind of go hand in hand. Wouldn't
absolutely.
You say?
I think here at Wasatch, we probably deal more on the mental health side than we ever do on the substance abuse, even though they exactly what you just said, they go hand in hand with each other. And so the mental health side of it is really, if you look at it, what most people are struggling with.
Right.
And, we can get right to the root of issues and see what people are dealing with and trying to numb themselves out with drugs and alcohol. And normally it's not the issue of the alcohol, it's normally the issue of the other side of it that is so important to deal with. Yeah,
and we'll get into that. For those who may not know Mark Richards, when he shared his story, how long has Wasatch been open now? 9 years?
So we're almost 10 years.
Almost 10.
We'll be 10 years this December.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
almost
awesome.
10 years. That says a lot. But Mark, he almost died from an aneurysm, and he went through some really scary moments in his life. But because of that, but not only that, Mark is a very giving, he's a very giving and kind person. And that's one of the main reasons why he opened this place up, is because he wants to help others and make this world a better place. And again, that's why I work here, because I wouldn't work for anyone who didn't have that philosophy. And I'm just grateful to work with you, Mark, and to be here as a counselor and a life coach here at Wasatch. I wanted to ask you, we see a lot of things. You've seen a lot of things over these last 10 years. What do you think are the most common things you see when a client comes in here that they're really struggling with on a personal level?
Well, I think just being one of our first episodes of the Wasatch Way, one of the biggest things that we see when people come in, the first thing we see from most people is they think that they're broken.
Yeah.
And we know that they're not.
Yeah.
But trying to convince them that they're not broken is a challenge, and it's something that we deal with. And it's awesome to watch as they go through the process to be able to find themselves and to realize that they're not broken is one of my favorite things that we do here at Wasatch Recovery.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's something that I really love as well. It's something that I really preach here as well. It's funny. I had this statement in my office So you're sitting right now typically where a client would sit for the first time, and I have him read that statement out loud, and it said, I'll let you read it.
Yeah, I'll read it. It says, "The most delightful surprise in life is to suddenly recognize there is nothing wrong with you."
Yeah.
It's so true. It is
Yeah.
so true. And what's interesting is I think not only for people who are struggling with drugs and alcohol, people who are struggling with mental health, but all of us,
Yeah.
I think at moments in our life think, my gosh, I'm broken.
Yeah.
You know, how do I get out of this funk that I'm
Yeah.
in? And
Yeah.
it's rough. It's rough at times, where, you know, mentally and physically and emotionally and
Yeah.
everything that we see. It's crazy.
It's interesting too, Mark, when I have a client read that, it's like on day one, and I really take great pride. I think I'm one of the only people in the country that will tell someone to read this on day one. We're talking like people who are detoxing from heroin, meth, coke, alcohol. They've got a lot of mental health issues, all this stuff. They've blown up their lives. And when I have them read that statement out loud, it's interesting, the responses. You know, you get some people that cry. They just start crying. You get others that kind of laugh and go, they look at me like, "Are you kidding me? You're crazy." Right? And again, other people just look at you kind of dumbfounded. But again, Mark, I know, you know, you've always viewed people that way. I know you have that kind of a mindset yourself. You really expect a lot out of our clients, which I think is great. The question though I have for you, Mark, why do you think people are, so many of them are caught into that mindset, do you think?
Well, not only does it come from inside themselves, but I think that they look around and they see the disappointment in others. They're making choices, obviously, that probably aren't in conjunction with what they believe.
Yeah.
They're struggling in what they do on a day-to-day basis. They want to change. They just are stuck.
Right.
And so if you do that long enough and people tell you long enough that you're a screw-up, you're going to start believing that there's something wrong with you. And I think over 10 years of doing this, I've found so many incredible people that come through here and do realize, my goodness, I've got so much potential.
Right.
I've got so much more to offer to this world. But it takes a minute to start believing that you can actually make a change that way.
Yeah. I think that's something that I see often as well. And it is so common. I think it's probably the number one common denominator that we see, especially when the clients first get here, is I'm broken. Something's wrong with me. And again, that doesn't mean their life, they don't have stuff to change, right?
Sure. Yeah. There's plenty to change. And again, I think we could all say that. I think we're constantly working. We're constantly evolving as human beings in our life. Our lives are constantly evolving. We're getting older. Our kids get older. You know, next thing you know, you're a grandparent. And, and
Mark's talking about his
and
life.
I am. Yeah. So, no, it's, you watch them, but yeah, it's hard to believe that there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. And I think you nailed it on the head where, yes, it comes from within. It's a belief that they've formulated, but I think it's also based off of they're doing behaviors that go against their core values, their core characteristics of who they really are, right? Because we're not born broken. We're not born criminals. We're not born drug addicts, right? We learn that through, you know, stuff that, you know, we've gone through hard or, you know, and that kind of thing. And so I don't know. It's just interesting that we can formulate that, and it's so hard for people to break that mindset.
Well, it really is, and I think you're saying exactly what it comes from. Is your environment is going to tell you, what is right, what is wrong. This is what you should do. This is what you should not do. And if your environment is dysfunctional, then you become dysfunctional, and the next thing you know, the world's looking at you in a different light than what you want to be viewed as, and the next thing you know, you feel broken.
Yeah. So how does it feel as an owner when you see a person come in here with that mindset? They're broken, they're struggling. Again, by the way, Mark is a hands-on guy. He's here every single day. All the clients know who he is. Like, I hear this all the time from my end. I can't believe that the owner's here, and he actually talks to me, and he shakes my hand, and he hugs me, and he tells me he believes in me. I mean, that in itself is rarity. And again, I give you props for that, because that really does show how much you care. But how good does it feel when you see these clients come in, they're broken, or at least that's what they think, but they go through this process of the Wasatch Way. And then they come out of this thinking, I am okay.
Well, I think that's the most awesome thing in the whole world. That's what keeps us all coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to get here every Monday morning. I want to see how the weekend went.
Yeah.
I want to see where they're at. And it really is amazing to see somebody when they first come in that first week, and literally they're hopeless. They are hopeless. And within just a matter of a few short weeks, the light turns on. Their eyes, you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
They're starting to believe. I think that has a lot to do with you. And once they can believe, then they've got a shot, because that hope returns, and they've got this energy, and it's just an awesome thing to see. I can look at somebody when they first come in, and from a third-party perspective, I can almost point out the individuals that you can see so much potential.
Yeah.
And really, you can see so much potential in each and every person that walks in the door, but trying to convince them that they have that potential, that's the key, and that's what we do so stinking well here.
Yeah, we have a great team here. We really do. Wendy McCarter is our clinical director, and all our therapists, and myself, and you, and Tina, and Tessa, our experiential director, and our marketing team, Ryan Decker, and everybody involved here. It's amazing the passion that we have to help these people realize that very truth. Right?
I totally agree. It was funny. I had a parent walk in the other day, and I said, have you been helped yet? And she said, oh, yeah. I didn't know if it was a resident or if it was an employee, but I've been helped out great. And I love kind of hearing that, because that puts us on the same level as the resident who comes in.
Yeah.
And we're no better than anybody else who walks in the door.
Yeah.
We just have different issues we're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love to look at it from that perspective, and say, okay, I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. Just like you're not perfect as an individual. Your struggles are a little bit different than my struggles, but your greatness is just as good as what I could ever be. Yeah. Sometimes a lot better than what I could ever be.
And you're really good at letting clients realize that, because that's another, what makes you so good, Mark, at what you do, is just the way you carry yourself. I've heard you tell thousands of clients, hey, I'm no different than you. I just got these issues I'm dealing with. You're dealing with these issues. And I think that really helps them go, oh, wow, yeah, we are the same. I really love that you actually point that out, because I do think that helps them go, okay, you know what? I'm just like the owner here. I'm just like Mark. And I think that gives them a little bit of a kind of a boost in their attitude and their energy and everything.
I totally agree with you. I see it on a daily basis, to be able to be in a position where I am, and be able to let them know that you're okay, it's pretty awesome to see, because at first they're still not going to believe it.
Right. We understand that.
But to have somebody actually say that to them, where probably the last, whoever knows how long, it could be a year, it could be 10 years. Numerous people have told them that they're terrible. Yeah. They're, whatever it is.
Well, even society kind of looks down on them, like, oh, you're criminals. You don't have a chance to change. You're broken for life.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to break out of that when you've got all of that, pressure from the environment, right, and others.
Oh, 100%. And that's why I love this podcast, because belief cast, it's really a belief system.
Yep.
And that's what we do so well here, is that belief system is so important. In fact, I don't think anybody can get over the issues that they're dealing with who come through this facility without believing.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Our beliefs dictate the way we behave 100% of the time. You know, it's funny. There was a client that was here a little while back, and it finally clicked that it's like, yeah, I'm realizing there really is nothing wrong with me. And I said, when was the last time you did a cartwheel? And he looks at me like, what? I go, you did when you were a kid, right? He goes, oh yeah, all the time. I'm like, do a cartwheel, man. I mean, this is good news. And I kid you not, out the door, he does this cartwheel. It was freaking awesome. Right. I'm like, dude, see, this is it. This is why you're here, is to not only realize that, but experience joy again in your life.
Right.
And man, this guy was on fire.
Well, I think that's one of the coolest things that we do also is put them in positions to enjoy moments that they never thought that they could ever have.
Yeah.
And that's where Tina and Tessa, our experiential directors, are so awesome.
They're great at it.
Gosh, they're good at it. They give them those opportunities to experience things that people have never in their life tried or thought they might be able to do, and actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And they come back and they're ecstatic. And it doesn't have to be, you know, going on a river or hiking a mountain. It could be doing service. We do numerous hours at the food bank.
Yeah.
And some of our best experientials are delivering food to people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we could do a whole segment on service.
Absolutely.
You know, the gratification it gives to these guys to go out and actually serve somebody else in their current situation is a huge life-changing moment for me.
And I think that actually feeds into I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? When they see that I'm making a difference in someone else's life. I know in my own personal recovery, when I helped this girl at a lemonade stand, a simple little act, no big deal, it changed my life. But it also made me realize, you know what, I can do this. And I really am a person that can make a difference in this world. I think that's why these service projects and these food bank opportunities we give our clients helps them go, you know what, wow, that felt good to help someone today.
Right. And I encourage everybody to do that kind of stuff, you know, as families, as kids, as individuals. When we step people down to a different level of care, oftentimes I'll say, hey, don't forget to serve others. And a simple smile will brighten somebody's day.
Yeah.
And I often tell them that's service.
Yeah.
And not only does it change the other person's day, it's going to make your day great.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome to watch them do it, because they do. You know, I'll run down to my outpatient. Their face lights up. They're anxious to tell me that they held a door for some lady that day.
Right.
And that simple act of kindness changes their whole way of thinking, because it starts to give them that gratification that they're looking for.
Again, that's a part of the Wasatch Way, man.
Right.
I'm telling you, we're not saying we're the one and only out there, but I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 31 years, and this place is rare in the sense that we have so many people that love and care about the clients in the way that we do, but the way we help them get to that point. Because I think a lot of other places don't go down the road of, they don't start off with saying, there's nothing wrong with you. I mean, it's so funny. Like, I always ask, have you ever heard that anywhere else? They're like, never. And I love that.
Well,
you know,
in fact, taking it another step, oftentimes when I talk to clients and I ask them how their experience has been in other rehabs, is the first thing they tell them is, hey, we're gonna show you where your thinking errors are. We're gonna show you basically what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And we want to take the opposite approach.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the first statement they get is, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
What a relief.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, really? Yeah. And then, we do get to work, and they do work hard. We do help them change their belief systems. They process through trauma and through, abuse and all kinds of things. And, we put them up in what we call it, the meat grinder, right up there upstairs in the process room. And it is tough. And we have therapists that aren't afraid to be tough, but at the same time, they're very compassionate. And these people leave here going, this place was amazing.
Yeah.
We hear that over and over again.
Well, again, I think I mentioned it maybe in my other podcast. I had an individual that I ran into, a father, and just went to one of the family nights.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked out of there and he said, you could learn more in that 1 hour than you could in a year's worth of college. about life.
Yeah.
And that's a great compliment.
Oh man, that's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. And we often say, it's the greatest university on the planet.
Heck
and it really just reiterated what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I just said it to the group this morning. I just came from a process group myself, and I told the whole group, I go, you have just entered the greatest university on the planet. And they're all looking at me like, half of them already get it. Yep, absolutely. The new people are going, excuse me? What? But they will get it, and it will click, and they'll go, you're not kidding. This is the greatest university on the planet. And so, again, it's the Wasatch Way, guys, and that's why we love this place, and that's why the energy here is beautiful. And anyone that walks through this door with a loved one, and I know it's scary, I know you deal with a lot of parents, Mark, who are bringing their loved ones, and they're like, oh, boy, what are we doing here, But again, if they knew the Wasatch Way in its fullest, they'd be like, oh, can't wait for them to just go through this process.
Well, and I'm so excited for this opportunity to have, once a month to be able to go over these things.
Yeah.
And again, I know that you just threw it out there, but I'm going to throw it out there one more time. I know that people are nervous to make direct contact, but throw out your questions, throw out comments, and let us address them. Let us make it more comfortable. If somebody in your life is suffering, if it's you, if it's your family member, whoever it may be, we just want to create an opportunity to help somebody. And I think that's what this little segment will be for, is we can address those issues that people are dealing with, the anxiety, the fear of going to rehab. That's kind of a swear word in some ways, but believe it or not, it's one of the most positive situations you could ever put yourself in. You're away from the world. You're in a structured environment. It's healthy. You've got great positive people around you. You got people with common goals. I can't think of one negative thing. In fact, a lot of parents will say, is there a parent rehab that we can go to while our loved one is here? And it is. It's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And family night does help with that a lot. Like you said, parents leave there going, man, I learned more in that hour than I have all year and anything else. I'm so grateful that we do this family night, which we do every Tuesday night. So again, if people want to reach out to you and get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that? And
again, just like I did on the podcast, I would give people my cell phone number. I'll say it again while we're here. It's 801-898-7778. Or you can just call our direct line, and it will ring to not only myself, but it'll ring to 2 other people. And if I'm not available, and it's 801-901-0024. And we're available 24 hours a day, pretty much.
No, I love that. And again, if you have a question you want us to address, obviously you can let Mark know. You can let myself know. You can reach me too at 801-870-4412. But it's info@wasatchrecovery.com. If you have a question, or if you have a family member who's struggling, please just let us know. And what I love too, Mark, and you're really good at this, is if we bring someone in and we interview them, we assess them, if they're not the right fit, or if we're not the right fit, we'll find the best place for them. And that's another thing you're really good at doing.
Well, absolutely. I just think that's so important. When somebody gets the courage to ask if they're a fit or not a fit, we're going to find a place for them. And that's one of my biggest things in this in this industry is we take on that responsibility to help you and your loved one find the correct place for what they're dealing with.
No, I love it. I love it. Any final words before we wrap this Wasatch Way up today?
I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for what we're able to do. I'm vested in what we do. I love my people that come through here. When I say my people, when a resident walks in the door, if they're here for 15 minutes, I call them my alumni, and they're my people after that. If they go to other places or not, they're still one of my alumni. I love them. I love to see them, and I'm just excited to be just a little piece of their progress.
Love it. Very well said, Mark, and thank you again for joining us on the Wasatch Way. Thank you for tuning in, you guys, for the Wasatch Way. Again, please share this. If you have a family member, even a cousin that is struggling, send them this segment. And it gives them a little taste of what we do here. And again, we're here to help. And again, if we're not the right fit, we'll find the right fit for you. That's the beautiful thing. There's no pressure. And again, you'll find out how much we love and care about you and your loved ones. And so please tune in. Again, love you guys, and I appreciate all your support. And Mark, again, thank you for your time today.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Tom.